ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm back with the podcast number 2, and this time I have some guests that I'd like to introduce themselves. So, whoever wants to go first.
Okay. I'm Geoff, the commissioner of this league, as
Hopefully
well
not for
as
long.
general manager. Okay, as well as general manager and player for Doki Doki Football Club.
All right, welcome, Jeff. Excited to have
Thanks,
you on the
dude.
show, dude.
Thank you, dude.
All right, who's next?
Yo, I'll let Benny Bookers go last since he's our star, but this is Paul Poggers, the most underrated player in the league. That's pretty good information right there, I'd say.
Did you just say
Yeah.
underrated?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Alright.
Well,
All right.
I'm the best defender in this league at the forward position.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get into the next introduction.
I'm also
Yeah,
on Club Moron.
can you please just give me some space? Yeah. My name's Lauren Lovegood, well-respected member of the community.
That's debatable.
I'm a janitor, so I have a lot of power around here. You don't want to fuck with me.
Can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
What do you even do, dude?
I do everything, man. I do all the behind-the-scenes work. I'm pulling the strings. I make it happen out there.
Well, he made a big decision tonight that we're going to talk about in a little bit.
Can you?
I made a league-altering decision tonight.
Dude, yeah, I do have some things to say about that.
We'll get into that later, though.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. But these are my guests for episode 2. We went through a very vigorous interviewing process to get these boys on. So I'm excited to have them. So with all that being said, no introductions. We want to get right into the business, right, fellas? You guys
Absolutely.
talk about some stuff. Yeah,
It's all
that's-
business tonight.
Yeah. Let's get in there.
That's what I like to hear. So, for the first topic, we got to talk about Paul Pogger's team. Actually, the morons, the cock boys, as I referred to them once. There's some issues going on with this team. Lots of controversy with Compass. Having perfect ping in pubs and stuff, and then come game time, he's at like 500 ping, and he's refusing to play. And Paul Poggers and his squad has to play with like Matt and Tebow and Joel and Panda and all these other guys. So, what do you guys think is up with that? Do you think Compass is trying to tank? He's trying to not play on purpose, so that way his team has more of a chance to lose, so that way he can get into a position of being lower on the table, so he can get the first waiver, and then sign a good buddy of his in Pixel, so he can like dominate the league. Or what do you guys think is going on?
No, I think being on the team, I think I have a good perspective on this. I think that's a bit of a stretch you're making there. I don't really agree with the rumor. Compass is a great guy, and I don't think he'd do something like that. So,
I mean,
I'm just shutting that down right now. That definitely isn't the case. We're not thinking. We're just bad.
Yeah,
we're gonna improve.
I mean, that's not my rumor, dude. I don't want it to seem like it's my rumor.
Okay, well, it sounds like you're kind of spreading some rhetoric here, and I'm not really agreeing with it.
No, dude, I didn't come up with that at all. I mean, I have my own theory of what's going on, but I can.
Oh, okay, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, but I mean, I want to hear the thoughts of these other guys. Jeff, Lauren, what do you guys think?
All right. I mean, I don't want to accuse this guy of anything because I do consider him a friend of mine.
Bias.
It's just a little concerning that everything just seems to be lining up perfectly for him. Like his best friend, Pixel, is just waiting in the wings. This guy was the best player in the league by a mile last season. Never had any lag issues the entire season. Like you brought up, when it's not game time, his ping's perfect, dude. Today, for whatever reason, he was on a car ride for 2 hours. He was an hour late to his game, so he didn't even get to play in it. I mean, as the commissioner, we've talked about it. The staff team has talked about it.
That's right.
But we haven't really concluded anything since the only evidence would just be his ping rising. I mean, there's nothing sufficient enough to say either way. I mean, I hope that's not the case. He's a competitive guy, so I would hope that he would, try and uphold the what's the word I'm looking for? The high standard of competition, parity, if you will,
The
throughout the league.
integrity of the league.
Integrity.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. But I mean, if that's what he's doing, it worked for him because he got the first waiver tonight. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that is true. He did get the first waiver tonight. So, unfortunately for the league, I don't think anyone wants Compass and Pixels on the same team together.
Probably not.
Lauren, do you have anything to add to this topic?
Yeah, I do have something to add, actually. I want to go in a little different direction with this topic, actually.
Okay. Yeah.
Focus less on what Compass is doing and more on what the rest of the team is doing.
Yeah.
I feel like this is putting a bit of a hole in the reputation of Rachel and Paul Poggers. They're really really performing poorly on the field whenever I watch them, and
What?
I think it
Let him
reflects.
speak. Let him speak.
Yeah, let him go.
I think it reflects a lack of versatility, a lack of grittiness, a lack of determination on the field. When I see these guys out here playing with lesser players like Matt and Panda and Joel, obviously varying degrees of lesser. Matt's obviously better than them, but the point is, you look at the ladder. You got anybody playing on your team in the ladder, right? And you had people performing well and people performing not so well. Rachel and Paul Poggers being two people who didn't perform so well. They couldn't handle being on teams with lesser players.
That is
And
true.
we're seeing that again, having to deal with Matt and Joel and Panda, and I think it's just really a poor showing by them all around. I'm really disappointed in them. Thought maybe they'd be a little above that, but I don't know, man. We'll see how the rest of the season goes, but I think this puts a bit of a hole in their legacy.
I just like to say now you know how me and Rachel felt all season when you were mid last season and refused to play anything else. So.
Well, I mean, the ladder doesn't lie, right? That's all I got to say,
That's
really.
true.
And you took about 500 elo from me for AFKing. So.
I have something
Anyway,
to say when you guys were done.
Yeah, Jeff, go ahead.
Just, yeah.
Yeah,
I just want to point this out before we move on. Just to add a little fire to this whole situation. There's been a couple birds chirping in my ear, if you know what I'm saying. I've heard within the morons locker room there are some players who would prefer Pixel to not be on the team and have threatened to no longer show up if he does join the team. I'm not going to name any names. I'm not going to name any of my sources, but Pixel joining that team could essentially end their season if a couple other higher quality players decide that they've had enough.
I mean, I'm in the moron locker room. I'm in there every day. We're talking, we're communicating constructively, always constructively. No negative comments ever. No arguing. Just constructive. Just constructive talk. And like I gotta shut those rumors down as well. No one on this team is against Pixels joining. We will welcome him with open arms. He's a great player. Everyone on this team would love to have him on the team for sure. I have no doubt about that. I don't know. I've heard some people trying to troll and stuff and say Rachel doesn't like him. They're like best friends. I don't even know what they're talking about. That's obvious troll.
I mean, you mentioned last season playing with Lauren. You mentioned last season playing with Lauren and how bad that was, but I mean, you and Rachel were also on a team with Pixels last season, and I seem to recall that did not go as well as you claim that your relationship is now.
Well, the difference between Lauren Lovegood and Compass as a manager is absolutely human, and as a player in the field as well. You know, Lauren Lovegood as a manager last season, I mean, we'd all be ready showing up to games. We'd be ready. We'd be hyped to play games. And Lauren Lovegood, he'd be showing up 45 minutes late. Oh, sorry, I was watching Game of Thrones. And then after, what's even worse is after he'd be like, wow, that episode was terrible. So he's skipping. He's letting his team down to watch terrible episodes. That's really bad management of a team, and he's letting his players. That's why it didn't work out. I don't think it was on any of the players. It was on the management. And we have a better manager in Compass. He's a great guy, great leader. So I think it's going to be very different this season if we get Pixels.
I want the audience to know that these allegations made against me are totally false. There's absolutely no foundation to them. They're completely baseless. And I just don't think this guy is speaking from a neutral point of view right now. So that's all I got to say on
Not
that topic.
speaking very neutral. I mean, we'd all be showing up to games and didn't even.
No, let's just drop it, dude. Let's just drop
Well,
it.
now that you're
Yeah,
gonna
we
lie,
should.
It's a
now that
topic
you're
for
gonna
another.
lie. Now that you're gonna lie, man, I have to say, like, we'd be
Oh
showing up
my
to
God.
games. And
Yeah, okay, but
you'd
if
be like,
I mean,
oh,
you're gonna
sorry, we
you're gonna
rescheduled it for a
question-
week later. You'd say we rescheduled it a week later, like 30 minutes after it was supposed to start. Why not let your team know? You know,
but
like,
dude,
come on.
But dude, listen.
Come on.
Listen. If Compass is a great leader, then how come he's not leading from the field and he's willing to just, lag himself on purpose? According to these allegations, right? If that's true, if it's true and he's lagging himself on purpose, then why isn't he? Then why is he doing that? Why, like, I don't know how you can say
and I
he's a good
understand the
leader if he's
concerns.
doing
I
that.
understand the concerns, man. Like, I understand, but
Yeah.
I must say, like, everyone goes through rough times. He's having ping issues. I mean, there's a possibility his ping is being stressed by an outside source, possibly. And I don't think it's fair to question his leadership and stuff when he's under constant attack from DDoSers and he's been on road trips and shit. I mean, I think we're fine. I think he's a great leader. And
I mean, I'll just say
going through a
this.
rough time right now.
I'll just say this. I guess we should probably move on after this. Is that we'll see what happens on Thursday, because if Pixel signs up, he'll be on that team, and we'll see if the lag continues. But until then, we can't really say anything else other than speculation.
Oh, and I have one more thing to say. I was noticing in the general chat in the Discord today that Matt is pretty much doing everything but openly admitting that he wants to trade out of Deportivo Moron. Basically just saying it without really saying it. So I think it's a sad sight to see Matt, one of the great pillars of the community, being pushed out by his teammates. I just think it's really sad.
It's unlucky. It's really unlucky for Matt, bro.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty good transition to the next topic, actually. I mean, I think we should start talking about and looking at potential trades and transfers that might come through, because, I mean, we're going into the second week now. Or today was like the beginning of the second week of the season, so do you guys see
That's right.
Do you see any potential big transfers coming through? I mean, what do you think that looks like?
I could say for me personally, as a general manager, I'm in the GM chat. I communicate with the GMs. I see a lot, and just for myself personally, I'm not going to reveal anything, obviously, but I could definitely see a couple big faces or big names being moved this season. There's a couple teams out there with some really high level players who are, in my opinion, the teams are gonna really fall apart down the stretch, and they'll probably request trades, which could see things shaking up. I know me personally, as manager of Doki Doki Football Club, I'm definitely not completely satisfied with our current roster, and I'd like to make some changes if I could manage to pull something off. But I mean, I'm not going to name names just because I have some intel that I don't think some general managers would like me to share with the rest of the community, make it public. So I'll just leave it at that. I think there will be trades. I'm not going to say the names.
Very juicy, very juicy.
That is very juicy. A lot of mystery in that response, in that comment.
Yeah, I can't give anything away. That'd be unfair.
I mean, I could see, kind of going back to the cock boys, the morons. I mean, I could honestly see some transfers coming out of there. I've heard a lot of speculation with potential transfers of big players leaving the morons, specifically Paul Poggers and Rachel. And yet you have Paul here, defending Compass, and Compass is kind of, talking about potentially trading him. I mean, Paul, what's going on? What do you think about that?
That's true, bro. That's true. Very true.
Yeah, I mean, every player is a price. We're in a really great relationship, and we have a really good connection on the field. So, I mean, of course, he'd be willing to trade me. He'd probably want MVP tier players in return. But I mean, everyone has a price. I don't think these speculations about our team I don't think they hold any weight, honestly. I think me and Rachel are very comfortable in this team, and I don't think Pixel's joining. I don't think anyone else not joining is going to change that. I think we're a really solid team.
So you think that if Pixels comes, from the first waiver, then the starting four would be Compass, you, Rachel, and Pixels, and then you guys would just keep that starting four for the rest of the season?
I mean, I can confirm. I'm in the locker room. I can confirm Matt definitely wants out. But the thing with that is, like, the way Lauren worded it, Matt's being pushed out by his teammates, and that's just not the case at all. We have a really good locker room. And we're really, we're really into our development of our players. And Matt's an up and coming player. He's not there yet, but he can get there. But his behavior recently, like calling, demanding trades with all the other GMs.
Oh, hang on. Whoa, we need to stop. We need to stop.
Why? What's going on?
There is something huge transpiring in the GM chat right now that involves people in this chat. In this podcast right now, there are something huge going on right here. Okay?
Wait, does Lauren have access to the GM chat?
No, he does not. Just me.
I'm about to make myself have access.
No.
Do not abuse your power, dude.
Don't abuse. Yeah, come on now. All right, listen.
Yeah.
Dude, come on.
Yeah,
I did it for the podcast.
Listen to what he's got to say.
Listen. Just everybody quiet. Okay. Monk and Shirt from the Merritt Island, what are they called? Merritt Island Misadventures have been traded in exchange to the Club Deportivo Morons, Cockboys, whatever you want to call them.
Say it ain't so.
In exchange for Rachel, Matt, and Paul Poggers.
It's got to be a troll.
Is that confirmed? Is that a confirmed trade?
Wait, what happened? I didn't even hear what happened.
It is posted by StarCrushed and it's been accepted by Compass.
You're kidding.
What happened?
Okay.
I'm going to repeat this. Monk and Shirt in exchange for Rachel, Matt, and Paul Poggers. You're headed to Merritt Island, dude.
Well, let's just skip the analysis, and I'm going to take this time right now to announce my retirement from real soccer. It's been a great ride. I've played years, and I've met some great people along the way. I've improved at times, what's the word? Unimproved at times. And it's been really fun, and special thanks to the people who've made it happen. Ran the league for all these years, all the GMs, even though some of you are trolls. But I'm definitely not playing ever again. So that's all I got to say about that.
Dude, Monk is just getting bounced around from so many different teams. When he started at Doki, and then he went to the Merritt Island, and now he's on the Morons.
Yeah, guys, I lied. Moron is a joke. It's in shambles. It's absolutely like a war zone in there. Compass is a terrible GM. Like, I don't care how talented they are, they're gonna fall, dude. They're in shambles. Compass is a joke. They're trash.
Can you give like a compare and contrast between your experience on the Lilies last season compared to your experience on the Morons this season?
I never thought.
Speak carefully, dude. Choose your words wisely.
I never thought I would say this, but I found a team that I have enjoyed less than the Lilies last season. I didn't think it could get any worse. I did not think it could get any worse. This season so far has been far worse. Compass is tanking for Pixels. He's subtly admitted it in chat over and over, and the staff aren't doing anything about it. In fact, they made it even less punishing for him to tank by moving the free agency sooner in the season. So he's getting let off. He's gonna still be able to get first or second seed even, despite tanking 3 games. So, I mean, I don't know. This has been a terrible experience. Rachel isn't happy either. I can speak on his behalf. He's hated this season so far, more so than I have, I think.
Do you think?
And to make it even worse, Matt came with us in this trade. This is the worst possible scenario.
Dude, now you're teaming up with both Matts. You have Matt and then Matt with one.
Oh yeah, true.
I can't figure out which one I'm less excited about. That's the thing.
Okay, but think of the bright side, right? You're teaming up with Gwyd.
That's what I'm thinking.
Star player Gwyd. He
I didn't
scored.
think
He
about
scored
that.
their only goal. He scored their only goal, which happened to be a bigger goal than most think because it won me money. So, I mean, not only did he secure a point against, who was it, Forge? I think it was Forge.
Yeah, it was Forge, yeah.
So, I mean, he secured the point, but he also scored the goal. I mean, some might say that he's in form right now because of that.
It's officially been posted too, so
Yeah,
it's official.
Yeah, it's
That's-
official.
that's
And
official.
I just want to say now that these players have been moved and there's no repercussions, Compass came to me with a trade offer for Paul Poggers for Gurman straight up, and I rejected it. Just want to throw that
Oh
out there.
wow, that's gotta
Wait,
hurt.
Can you-
That's a
whoa,
huge
Just want to throw it
ego.
out there.
That's wow.
Can you like explain your thought process?
Wait,
as
Jeff?
to, like,
Jeff?
why?
Wait, whoa. I kind of zoned out there. Jeff rejected me for Gurman?
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
do you wanna
That's
elaborate
correct.
on like your decision there? Like,
Yeah.
Oh.
he
Yeah,
left the call. He left the call. All right.
No surprise.
Here's what I'll say. So, he said, wait, I think he deleted it actually. Yeah, he deleted it. Fuck. So I saw this PM, dude, right? It said Paul Poggers for Gurman. And my first thought was, well, this could be pretty good, you know? This could be a pretty good trade. Gurman's a good player, but he's a lot more offensive minded. He's, I mean, not more, a lot more offensive minded, but he sometimes slacks a little bit on defense. I'm talking about Gurman, not you, by the way, Evan.
Yeah, I just joined back. Are we serious right now?
Dude, let me
Yeah,
finish my thought here.
let him explain. Let him explain.
Yeah, this is good stuff.
Yeah, the inside story.
And so, if you guys know me, you know, as a general manager, I like keep my locker room as nice and friendly. No toxicity at all as possible. Rex can confirm this from last season when we were one of the worst teams in the league. Everybody was always supporting one another, no matter what. I think we won 2 games the entire season, but it was never got any sad. This season, it's been the same. Every single other team that we've played this season so far have been arguing with each other. And post game, pre game, during the game, teams are stopping to type during the game to yell at each other. But we're not doing any of that. We're on voice every game, encouraging each other. And I don't think Paul Poggers fits into our team
What?
culture. I don't think he fits into the team culture. I think he would have fucked up the chemistry. That's all I gotta
Truth
say, dude.
hurts. The truth hurts.
Yeah.
If we would have lost the game, dude, it could have been in shambles, bro. That's all I'm saying.
What?
Saying, dude.
Oh, wait, I just got. I'm not even
you
going
have-
to comment
you have a
because it's
very,
really
very-
inaccurate.
You
but,
have a terrible track record. So, and also he pulled out of the trade before I could even respond to it. So there's that too.
Okay.
Did you or did you not consult with Rex on this decision?
I didn't consult with anybody because it happened so fast. I responded and I said no, and he said never mind anyways. So it was over
And
before I
me
could
being
even.
completely not toxic at all in hockey did not creep into your thoughts at all.
I think
No, it didn't.
There it goes.
that probably has to do with the fact that, I mean, we're all friends in that league anyway, and we only play with each other and no one else, and we've won literally every game except the
So
first
you
game.
think it'd be toxic as well?
Well, I
I
don't
think
know.
it's possible.
I don't think you would, but I can see where he's coming from at the same time.
Also, it was a little early to rock the boat. You know, we were just off to a really good start in our season.
Whatever, dude.
I didn't want to change anything. I thought it was a little early to make some changes like that.
Whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Whatever,
Just wanted
man.
to put that. Just being as transparent as possible here.
Whatever, dude.
I think so. I kind of want to go back to the trade that just happened between
too.
Merritt
Yeah, we
Island
kind of
and-
got to analyze that a little bit.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up this idea. So, Shirt hasn't been active at all, right?
Yeah.
He hasn't played like a single game.
Nope.
Do you think that he'll start showing up for the Morons? I mean, Compass is pretty much rebuilding the Leon last season, right? Was Shirt on Leon?
He was on
Yeah.
them, but
He
he
was.
wasn't very active. He played like a total of 3 or 4 games, I think.
All
Very
right.
good in those games, though. I
Yeah,
gotta say.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
he
think
was their goalkeeper.
I think he played in the cup final against Doki.
I don't believe so. It was Tebow in that.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I thought it was Tebow, Compass.
Neg and Monk?
Was it Shirt? Shirt might have actually been playing mid or something. You might be right. I just thinking of him as goalkeeper, but
I
yeah, you
thought
might be right.
I thought he played GK with Compass mid and then Neg and Monk at forward, but I could be
Oh, you're right. Wait, I don't know. I can go check really quick while you talk.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, it's pretty much. I mean, he got Monk in that trade as well, so I mean, he's pretty much rebuilding that same team, minus Neg, and he's replacing Neg with Pixels, who's arguably, probably a better player than Neg, right? So, I mean, I guess I'm just interested to see if Shirt is like, if he's been lurking, hanging around. He doesn't want to play on Merritt Island because obviously they're not up to his standard of play, like level of play or whatever. But now, he might see this trade and he'll start showing up. Like, I just kind of wonder. What's gonna happen there. I mean, like, was Compass in talks with him privately, and is he like trying to figure, like, why would he trade for Shirt, if he doesn't have a plan? It just
I feel like-
sense.
I feel like
And
Shirt's-
just to confirm, he did play in the cup final with them
Okay.
as goalkeeper. I was wrong.
I feel like Shirt's not the type of guy who would not show up because he doesn't like his team. I think he genuinely just has bad activity.
You think so?
I know. I was talking to him before the start of last season. I was very interested in drafting him. I ended up not doing it because I knew I couldn't have Rachel and Shirt on the same team. But I was very interested, so I contacted him, and he said that he's working, I think, very close to game times.
Well, let me just interrupt your big advancement. Shirt is actually typing in the general chat right
there
now
you go.
as we speak.
Okay.
So,
There you go.
On phone, out of town.
so it looks like Lauren might be off with his analysis there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. About
Well,
that.
it's true. I mean,
He just
if you
happened to type right
if
now.
you think about it, like, how could he not enjoy the team from last season? It was Fenaria, Compass, Monk, and himself. Like, those are all pretty laid back people. I don't know how he couldn't enjoy
Well, here's
it.
another advancement. Compass just said, "You think I'd trade for a dead player? LMFAO?
Yeah.
You're stupid."
Yeah. I mean,
LOL in all
that's-
caps. This is over.
That's kind of what I was like getting at. I mean, he's not.
Let me
Gonna-
just-
He's not gonna do.
Let me just say, Monk and Shirt are better players than me and Rachel, like, combined. Like, they're
Wait.
better. So if they're active, the league is even more over than it would have been if they
Yeah.
just signed Pixels and didn't trade. So
I think.
plus there's like no drama anymore there at all. No possible drama. So it's actually over. This season should just be ended right now. Like, I'm not even kidding.
Yeah,
like,
well,
Well, they
this is
also
what
added
happens.
Matt
No,
to the
listen.
trade, dude.
This is what happens when you give Matt with 1T GM. You give Lucas GM. I'm not kidding. Jeff, you're actually kind of retarded for this. Like, Matt with 1T is
Wait,
a
Lucas
GM
isn't bad.
unironically.
Lucas isn't bad.
Lucas
Yeah,
is
I think-
perfectly fine, dude.
I think
Bro.
Lucas is doing a good job.
Okay. Lucas isn't that bad. Matt with 1T. What were you thinking, honestly?
Nobody
what were you
else
thinking?
wanted GM.
Well, wait.
I would have GM. I literally said I would
You
have
didn't
GM.
talk a
say
lot
anything.
about this.
I
can
told
talk
Jeff
a lot
101 that I
about this.
GM. He's
I
trolling.
can talk
He's
a lot about
trolling.
this. I can talk. No, let me. Because I did not agree with giving this guy GM either.
You're talking about Matt with
So Matt with 1T, yeah.
Okay.
This was entirely Anonymous's decision. Lauren can confirm that. I just want to say,
I don't
before, well, he did, but before the season started, I brought every single name in of the people who signed up to GM. It was KPA, you. I approached Lucas myself because Ben said he would be a good fit. I just asked him if he wanted it, and he was like, yeah. And one other person. I don't know. But it was those.
One, actually. Was
No,
it?
no. But I brought up your name. I said Evan has to be one of the general managers, and Anonymous said no. I said, okay, who else do you have as a replacement? Because not a lot of people have responded to. Like, I put this question out to the entire league. If anybody wants to GM, message me and we can talk about it. And a total of 3 people messaged me, and I put out this thing several times throughout the course of the season. And Anonymous said, no, he's a troll. He won't take it serious. Da 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 da. I said, okay, based on how the season has gone, or last season went, I can agree with that. But
What?
who do you have? Let me finish. Who do you have as a replacement idea? And he said, a couple players on my academy team and Tijuana, I think would be good fits. I said, okay, who do you have in mind? He said, Matt, or Starcrushed. And I was like, I don't really think this is a good idea. And he said, well, he's doing a good job as a general manager in another league. I think it's worth giving him a shot. And I didn't really feel like arguing, and I just said, okay, we can give him a shot. I trust you. I trust your opinion. Because me and Anonymous, at least last season, we worked really well together. Towards the end of the season, we tried to fix everything. So I was like, okay, you know him better than I do, obviously. A lot can change in 2 years. I think that's the last time that he played in real soccer was like 2 years ago. So I gave him the chance, dude. And obviously, I don't think it's working out very well. After the first game, Monk messaged me saying if he could take over GM, and I brought it up, and Anonymous also rejected it, saying that that first game was entirely Monk's fault that they lost because he was trolling. Even though I don't think he was, I think he just messed up and he got subbed out.
He was trolling a little bit.
Okay, maybe.
Wait, he subbed
I
out
was.
Monk?
Yeah, he subbed out Monk after the second goal that they conceded. But yeah, Anonymous just is all aboard the StarCrush train. Even tonight, I said, because they had to reschedule their game, I was like, dude, this guy's been AFK the entire night. Like, where is he? Obviously, I guess he's online now. Obviously, he just
Yeah.
made a trade.
That's
But he's just said he's just AFK for today. And I was like, that's not really a good excuse. Like, these games should be getting played on time. But maybe, I mean, now he's traded for 3 active players. So maybe he's trying to fix it. I don't know.
Active players, 2 of which who hate the other one. And the only positive right now is that he can sign Kazov if he signs up, and that's kind of still an if. And then even then, like me, Fen, Rachel, it's a really good trio. But then who's our 4th dude? Either Matt with 2 T's is going to be on the field. Matt with 1 T will be on the field. Daniel Giambro will be on the field or something. Like,
he's in form, dude. He scored. He won me money.
like I don't know. I think he's absolutely he's blown it really bad, and I'm not sure why Pixels is allowed to play in this league, etc. It's absolutely this season's been a disaster so far. It's going downhill very quickly.
Also, I just have to point out that he's going to have to cut somebody after this trade. He's over the roster limit currently.
Who do you think that'll be? Who's
Probably. Who is Jimmy J Buckets? Does anybody know who that is?
No.
Or Jimmy G Buckets? Who is that dude?
Is he on the team?
He's on the roster.
Okay.
I don't know. He's talking in the team chat right now. I'm just gonna. I don't know. You guys can go. I'm gonna message Matt. Tell me that.
All right.
Just to add on to the topic of Pixel, I just want to make it clear to everybody in here that it's probably about like a 99% chance that Pixel has been playing in this league as Sprung. I really like this theory that Sprung is Pixel because it just makes so much sense. They talk the same, they play the same, they always mention each other in the chat, and yeah, Sprung scored a couple goals this season, and that means Pixel is in form. So I think it's a little scary to think of him on Moron. I don't think they're going to be morons for much longer. That's all I got to say.
So where does this theory come from?
Well, I noticed it a couple days ago. I mean, well, there's always been like theories about Sprung being an alternate account.
Right.
Yeah, a lot goes on in the staff chat, dude. A lot goes on behind the scenes.
So you guys have been talking about this for a while. Okay.
Yeah.
We've been talking about it.
Okay.
We've all been thinking it.
Yeah.
And I noticed it a couple, I think it was last game night, the one before this one tonight. Pixel was typing before the Flamengo game, he was typing in the chat, doing whatever. And then the game started, and then he just went completely MIA. Then as soon as the game ended, I noticed Pixel was on there typing again. He was talking about, am I drafted yet? Am I signed yet? Etc.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little suspicious. And I noticed that, like, Sprung's over there in the game. He's, like, spinning around with the ball, and he's, like, making perfect passes, and he's, like, sniping goals. I'm like, how has this guy never been seen before?
Yeah.
And then it clicked, right? It was like, this is him. This is the same guy. And I sort of brought it up to him, not so subtly. I could see him sweating a little bit. His face was getting a little red. And then, just like lately, the past couple of days, they've been like mentioning each other in the chat. You know, they've been like, Sprung's been like at Pixel, and Pixel's been like at Sprung. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So I think it's the real deal, and maybe that's the break that the rest of the rest of the league needs. A suspension for Pixel for faking somebody.
And I can back this up a little bit because right now Sprung is talking to Compass very suspiciously in general chat, saying "Cool, Compass, cool." So that looks a little bit suspicious.
And just to piggyback off of this, I think Ben might have said this, but I didn't hear him say it. If you just like look at the chat logs, Pixel does not type during when games are being played, but he'll come immediately after games are over, like as if he was just playing in a game. Like he'll immediately come in, and it's always after Flamengo's games. He'll suddenly become active on the chat again. It's very interesting to think about. But again, there's no way to definitively say either way unless we start checking people's IPs and shit.
Yeah.
And it's worth mentioning that Anonymous does not think that it's Pixel.
Yeah, Anonymous is literally anti every conspiracy. He thinks everything's fine. He's just a very trustworthy guy, dude.
Well, he
called you too trustworthy.
Yeah, apparently.
Anon, he just loves real soccer. I mean, he doesn't want anything bad to go on in the
That's what I was gonna say.
I mean, he absolutely loves this game, dude. He gets home from work at 3 a.m. and instantly puts up a pub. Like, and he doesn't even play good games. He's playing with, like, Messi the best and Klister and Sweaty, and it's like, I don't know. He just loves the game.
Look at his actual team. I mean, I know it's his friends, but, like...
Yeah.
Not exactly the top quality players that the other teams have.
He always picks low risk, chill people who can play decent. He always does that, and it works out for him. He just loves playing without any drama, and I guess he doesn't want any drama anywhere in the league, preferably.
But, I mean, his entire team is toxic anyway. Lucky and...
his team was pretty crazy tonight.
Lucky and Smacked were hating on each other the entire time. They were talking during the middle of the game. Like, they were running around and typing to each other, just yelling at each other the whole time.
Smack did get cut, though, after the game.
Yeah, that is true. So I guess he's not putting up with it anymore. But it did happen. I mean, it's not like he can just avoid it all the time. But I mean, this whole Sprung is Pixel thing. I mean, I think it does make a lot of sense, especially with like just the timing of everything. I mean, it's you can't really, like, I don't know. It's just, it'd be way too coincidental if, you know, Pixel shows up every single time when Sprung isn't around or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, to what extent would he try to make it seem as if he wasn't Sprung, though? Because I've been in pub rooms where Sprung and Pixel are both on the field at the same time, or, like, they're on the same team. So is he, like, if this theory is true, is he getting somebody to join the room as Sprung? And, like, you know, to, like,
maybe
to just make it seem like it's not him, or like...
And I mean, Lauren's saying Sprung plays really well. I mean, Sprung is definitely. I haven't seen him too much, but he's been solid when I've seen him.
He is a good player.
He definitely hasn't been very good. Like, he looks like he's above average, but nothing better. But I mean, if it is Pixels, he could easily just be purposely playing not so fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He seems pretty good, dude. And it's also worth pointing out that he only uses Discord. You can see Sprung. He only uses Discord with his phone, which could be Pixel going in on his phone while being on Discord as Pixel on his desktop, just to, you know, try and ward off any people looking a little close with the microscope, you know?
Yeah.
In my opinion, that shoots up the percentages huge if that's actually the case.
I mean, you can see it
Yeah.
right now. He's on his phone, sprung.
Geoff actually brought this up to me last week sometime. I think we were scrimming the Flamengo, and Sprung was on the field, and we were in a voice call, and Geoff was like, dude, this Sprung guy, I swear he's Pixel because he plays so much like him.
Yeah, he used, like, you could tell, like, the SPHB players, like Lindros, Compass, Pixel, Neg, Nantes, they use their body a lot
Yeah.
because that's how regular Hackspall is played. You gotta screen people, and Sprung does it the exact same way that these guys do it. So it just made me, like, it just like came to my mind. I was like, nobody else really plays like this, like with screening people like so hard and so well. Like people, like I try and screen people all the time, but I can't hold it like nearly as long as they can, and he can just hold the screen forever. So I was just like, maybe it's not Pixel, but like maybe it's like somebody else who's just really fucking good. But my first thought was like, this guy is playing the same way that I've seen Pixel play in pubs before. But yeah, it just came to my mind. Yeah, like you said, just like when we were scrimming them right after the draft, I was like, this is so weird.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I was in the room, or at least one of the very first rooms when Sprung like started playing, and he was like, "Yeah, I used to play real soccer back in the day. Da 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 da. I'm really happy to be back." I was like, "Okay, cool." And we started playing games. I was like, "This dude is really good. Like, not the best player that I've ever seen, like, but like still like really really good." So I was like, "Okay." And then Anonymous signed him, I think, with like a week or two left in the season. I don't remember if he played any games for Cartel last season at the end, but um, I don't know. That's just how I got introduced to him. He just randomly joined a pub one night and was like, "Hey, I just got on Hacks. And I just saw a real soccer room I used to play." So I mean, it's just, the whole thing is suspicious. My first thought, like I said it, like way before the season, last season, I said, "Dude, I'm pretty sure this guy's an alt. I don't know who it is. He's just like way too good to just be some guy returning from several years ago,
Yeah.
where none of us even know that like nobody has ever seen Sprung until." Like a couple weeks back when he first joined. Like nobody remembers that name from years ago. So it's just a little weird that he joins the Discord. He's in the rooms all of a sudden. I don't know who gave him the link, but it's just some. I mean, like I said, there's no way to prove it without checking people's IPs, and I, I don't know if I even want to bother doing that at this point.
Yeah. I'm like when you did mention that to me, especially with the whole like using his body thing, I started noticing that later on, like the last couple of times I've been in pubs and Pixel has been in there, I've noticed like he plays the exact same way. Like
Yeah,
he they both make the exact same screens with their bodies, like especially on throw-ins and stuff. And then there was one moment I think during the scrim as well where I think Lucas asked Sprung to mid because they were struggling. They didn't have a mid at the time, and so Sprung was like, "Okay, I'll try." And then he played there for a while, and then like a minute later, he was like, "Okay, I can't with Kevin." I think Kevin was in the game, Kevin M31, and so he was like, "Okay, I can't mid with Kevin." And I feel like that would be something that Pixel would say, like he can't play a certain position, especially mid, if there's like a forward who's not doing what Pixel wants him to do. So I think that just kind of
yeah.
adds more to the fact that, or to the theory, I guess, that Pixel sprung. Obviously, there's no like concrete evidence or whatever, but it's all just speculation.
And also, they kind of type the same. Sprung is a little different, but I've noticed Sprung recently ending a lot of sentences with the word "so."
Yeah.
That's kind of like a staple of this community of people who've been around for a while.
So
Even from
and or.
SPHB, it's just kind of like, yeah, just like the way that people who have been around for a long time have typed. And he's just like randomly started doing it. That makes me think maybe this guy's slipping up a little bit, or maybe he's just, getting used to the community and just trying to fit in. I don't know. We're never going to know unless somebody admits to it. So.
Yeah. I I actually I actually asked Pixel directly.
Oh, so did I.
I asked him on May 19th We were having a conversation about some content that he wanted me to help him with that I never actually did. But I just randomly asked him, I was like, "Are you sprung, by the way?" And he said, "I hope you aren't serious. LMFAO. Do I look like a D3 player dude? WTF?"
Suspicious. That's a suspicious response, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, he's
Yeah.
I think he's just trying to play it down. Like, he's not going to value Sprung as a good player because he's trying to, take the heat. He's not trying to get any heat, on him or whatever. But I don't know. It's all speculation. Nothing's going to be confirmed. It's just, I don't know. We can all have our theories about it.
I just have one final thing to say about Pixel before we should probably move on eventually here.
Yeah.
One final thing is that Pixel was spotted on HF boards Friday at 8:53 p.m. saying that Sidney Crosby is underrated. So gives you a little insight into his mindset right now. It's
True,
not good.
true.
I feel bad for him, and I hope he gets some help. But really, that's all there is to say about Pixel right now, I think.
Hashtag pray for Pixel.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I just want to point out, since this is live, I'm noticing Fenaria typing, and he just
I
signed
was
up for
noticing that
agency.
too. Yeah.
Fenaria has just signed up for free agency, and the Merritt Island Misadventures technically have the first waiver since. Well, I guess I shouldn't actually be giving this away, but I think it's kind of obvious. Pixel's gonna go to the Morons, and now the Merritt Island Misadventures have the opportunity to sign Fenaria if they choose to do so.
So how do you think a roster of Rachel, Evan, and Fenaria would do? Do you think that would be enough to get them into the playoffs after their
For
horrible start?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even after their
it's way
horrible
too
start, though?
early. They have. I mean, you can look at the standings. They have 1 point, right? But they still have a game in hand over the rest of the league. Tijuana
Oh yeah, I
is right
forgot about
now
that.
on
Yeah.
2 points. Yeah, so basically they could hop into fourth place just with a win over Tijuana. They would technically be in fourth place. So
Forgot about that rescheduled game.
yeah.
So,
I mean,
So
the
if you
only question
look-
mark is who is going to be their goalkeeper.
that's a good question. I don't even know who else is on their team. LBJ?
LBJ's a goalkeeper. He's known for unleashing beautiful passes like once every 30 minutes, I find. Other than that, he's pretty bad. But
He's
can't remember. I think he was on
definitely-
Hanako's Legion last year or last season in the academy.
Yeah, he
Didn't
was.
do very well at all, but at least he's a goalkeeper and he's happy playing goalkeeper. He's not going to threaten to play forward. So
He's
I guess that
definitely-
might be your top option, unfortunately.
He's definitely not gonna be on the same wavelength. He's not gonna live up to the same pace that the other three players are gonna be trying to play at. So I don't know if it's gonna work out as well as they want, but maybe they can just carry him or try to look for a trade, bring in someone else who's higher quality. I don't know. But I mean, if that does happen and if they build that team with Fenaria, and they have that solid core. And they're obviously going to be contenders for a playoff spot, right? And then you have the Morons. And they're in the bottom two right now. So with that being said, I think we kind of have to think about what could the potential league standings look like in the future with these bottom two teams. Obviously, you could say the Morons are undeserving of being there, but there's a reason why they are. And then the Merritt Island are definitely looking to make a comeback throughout the rest of the season. So, I mean, if we expect both of those teams to get into the playoffs, which two teams from the other four would you expect to see not make the playoffs?
I would say probably Flamengo and the Cartel at this point.
Yeah.
I think Flamengo is going to fall apart. I mean, we saw it tonight. They kind of, during our game, they were not having a good time. I think Lucas is going to have to make a decision. Like, you have to get rid of Farah, otherwise your entire locker room is just going to implode on itself. Like, every single game, it's get rid of Farah. Their entire team is just telling him, please get rid of Farah. Just cut him, trade him, whatever you got to do, get rid of him. But, I mean, if he gets rid of Farah and they have I guess the team, if Sprung and Pixel aren't the same person, and we just assume that Sprung's going to be there every single night. Their team could still be Vidal, Mezit, Lucas, and Sprung. And with the 6 points they got, I mean, they could hold on to maybe a 3 or 4 seed, but I mean, it's going to have to start with getting rid of Fair. Otherwise, that team is not going to make it, I don't think. I just don't think the Cartel roster is just strong enough to withstand an entire season.
Yeah, I mean, they only have 1 point. They've only played 2 games, but because they reschedule with Merit. But I mean, or wait, have they
I'd
played
say
3? I don't even remember.
they've played 2. I'd say in a Non's current form, like I'm not trolling when I say I think he's the second or third best player in the league right now in his
He's
current
playing
form.
really fucking well.
I do
He's
agree.
so good.
I do
And
agree with that.
he's at the most important position, midfield. He's the best midfielder right now, unless Compass was playing mid. And I think that's easily going to be enough. If you have a mid that good and his supporting cast is good enough and they're not toxic at all, they're friends, they're easily going to be fourth or probably more like third by the end of the season. So I'd definitely bet on them to make the playoffs. They're too stable.
So
But the
who-
problem is, who's gonna miss the playoffs if they make the playoffs? 'Cause,
Yeah.
like,
Well, I think Flamingos is the first one because of
yeah, but
they're relying
there's
on
Doki and there's
the most
Forge
toxic
left.
player ever seen in this community to play for them right now.
But who of
And so-
Doki and Forge is gonna miss? Because I don't think either of those teams are missing. I think they're too good, especially Forge. They're flying under the radar. I
Yeah.
put some money down on them to win the league. So I was like, fuck it, right? I think they're flying under the radar. They're underdogs right now.
Wait, I think I'm missing. Like, I think I was thinking there was another weak team,
Nope.
but I might have to reconsider what I said. Because
Their
I
only
forgot
their
that
only
the other
weak
two
point
teams
is their
were Doki and
goalkeeper,
Ford.
Frizzle.
Yeah, they have a big weakness at goalkeeper. I mean, Prizzle can improve, and he's already decent in link-up play actually on offense. Like he's pretty good.
Yeah,
But he's got to learn the ropes of the map and stuff still. But I think he can do that.
he definitely can. I mean, anybody who comes from SPHP who's been playing this game just as itself, Hacksball as the game for that long can adapt to anything. So
I'd
just
also
give
like
him
to
some
throw
time.
in that Forge wanted to trade for me to be a midfielder, and I'm having huge regrets. I said I didn't want to play midfielder, and I really wish I just said yeah, trade for me.
Well, now you get
Yeah,
Feneria as your midfielder, though. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd
if
say
he
that's a win.
signs
You
up,
just
and,
gotta wait 2 weeks,
yeah,
and you might lose every game in the meantime.
yeah. Since we're waiting 2 weeks for him, my prediction right now would be Flamingos and Merritt Island miss out on the playoffs, and Doki finishes first. I'd say Morons or Cartel would be second, and then Forge and probably Cartel would be the last two in the playoffs.
Oh, you really
I'd
rate the
agree with that,
Cartel.
yeah.
I don't have any faith in my team to make the playoffs if we have to wait 2 weeks for Feneria.
Yeah, there's already
Lauren said it,
players
dude.
requesting
I'm not
trades.
good enough. I'm not good enough at any position, dude. I'm a bad player. We just wouldn't be able to.
Dude, you don't even mean that. Stop memeing.
The thing is with Forge, like the only problem, I mean, like we pointed out, Prizzle as their goalkeeper is kind of weak, but like he's good offensively and he's smart enough, just has a good enough IQ to be positioned well for the most part. But they're having Question as their midfielder, and I mean, I don't know how many of you guys have played with Question. That's not his natural position at all. I mean, he's playing well so far throughout the season. Like he's putting up points every single game, but like they're scraping by these games, like 2-1 versus the Morons. They drew versus the Misadventures, which was a lineup of LBJ, Monk, Starcrushed, and Dan Guido. So they're not exactly blowing teams out of the water. They're just kind of, slowly scraping out wins, which I mean, is kind of the way that the Cartel operated last season. Like they would barely win those games, but they'd win 1-0 or 2-1.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's hard to do that the entire season. That usually catches up to you. But I mean, if Question continues to perform, then there's really aren't any really question marks on their team. Huh?
I mean, I when I see their games, they're completely dominating possession. I think it's sort of like a a floodgate sort of thing that eventually they're going to break through, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
just start putting up 2-3 goals a game.
It's possible. I mean, Negbro is one of the best forwards in the history of like North American hacksball, and Nantes is up there, and those two together is pretty lethal. So they could just end up outscoring other teams, and they don't even really need a good defense.
Nantes, he's honestly one of the best players in the league. I love playing with
Yeah.
him in pub rooms.
Yeah.
He's so good to play with because he knows what he's doing both offensively and defensively, and he always prioritizes defense. Like, I was in a room earlier today, and it was me, Nantes, Sweaty, and some other guy named The Broken or something. I don't even remember. And I think we were playing against Lindros, Pixel, Compass, and Monk, I think.
It's a good team.
We did not get the ball out of our half for 7 minutes, but we defended we only let in one goal, and we scored ourselves. But, like, the entire reason we didn't just get blown out of the water is because Nantes is just so strong defensively. Like, me and him just literally carried, even though we still ended up losing. I mean, it just goes to show against a team of that talent, like, he's able to just hunker down and play strong defense and not lose his mind. I think that's really, really important.
Yeah, early on last season, there was Knowledge was doing his player rankings content. He was like asking people to rank players. I ranked Nantes way higher than what he ended up being ranked. I thought like he was being severely underrated in that piece of content.
Where did he get ranked? I don't think I saw that.
I don't remember. He might have been higher than I remember.
I think it ended up being 6th or 7th, actually.
Really?
Fine.
Yeah.
Look here. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. He was 7th.
Oh my god.
Dude, I thought me and Rachel could be staple teammates, but he's actually flaming me in general chat right now. He said Matt with 1T got him and Paul Trollers in a tree. So he's flaming me now too. He's flaming everyone. So I think Merritt Island's going to go down really quickly and probably finish 6th in the league.
Yeah, I think there's going to be more trades from them coming soon.
Yeah, very soon.
Rachel messaged me about 20 minutes ago asking me what the secret is to get off of that team. Because
I guess
I forgot they drafted you. I forgot about that.
First overall, dude. I got drafted before the season even started. That's epic.
I think that's how most drafts work, actually.
Yeah.
True.
I think he might have got traded before the season even started.
Oh wait, what did I say?
You said
you got drafted before the season started.
Yeah, no, I got traded before the season.
That's not very impressive.
First overall, dude. All right.
First overall is impressive, though.
So, I don't know of any, like, what else we can talk about. Do you guys have anything that you want to talk about, like any topics or whatever?
We can talk about other free agents that are going to sign up. You know,
dude, Rachel,
if you want to. Dude, we're doing a podcast here.
I'm sorry, dude. He just added me. He said, "Yo, possession, Pogger, me and you head of this team, all dubs from here on out." Me and my link.
Stop looking at the.
Sorry, I'll tab out.
So
I'm getting this.
There are actually, depending on what you think about them as individuals, like a lot of people who could end up signing up as free agents. Saro 07 from last season, who's German national team starting goalkeeper, didn't play super well last season, but was also on not the best team in the world. He's online right now, actually sitting in free agency. El Jefe, who used to play real soccer, has joined this league and has sort of implied that he's going to be signing up in free agency. Carlitos from SHB has signed up. Leverage has signed up. Czech has signed up as well.
Dude, I don't see Sarah's sign up.
Me neither.
No, he hasn't. I'm saying he hasn't signed up. I'm saying he could sign up.
These are just potential people who.
I'm just saying that these. Right. Yas from SPHB has signed up. Bekdesh is in here.
Dude,
I mean, this is all hypothetical because I don't know
there's
if any people are
someone
going
we're
to sign
not
up.
mentioning that's sitting in free agency right now. Huge name, and I'm wondering if anyone's gonna bite on him in free agency.
Clister?
And that
Talk about
person
Derek
goes
Brunson.
by the name of Santiago.
Uh,
He's
Yeah, I
in
don't think
free
so.
agency.
Nobody wants that guy, dude.
I'm gonna put
not
my
after last season.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put my reputation on the line and say that he's not gonna be signed.
Yeah, I probably agree with that actually.
That would
Is
actually,
there?
casino
Dude,
guy, that would
I'm
actually
just
be a
gonna
good prop
say-
bet.
I was just about to say that'd be a really good bet.
I would be interested in
Merritt,
betting
dude,
on
I'm just
that.
saying Merritt Island might be desperate enough, dude. We might have to take a shot at Santiago, try to get the
He
shot.
won't even show up to your games.
Yeah, he's super
Dude,
I
inactive.
guarantee you.
Yeah,
He
he
might
doesn't
be
care
making-
anymore, dude. He doesn't care anymore.
I know,
And
dude, but
if he
we're
does,
desperate.
he will just own goal. Like, I swear, he won't actually try.
I'd love to see it happen though.
he wouldn't own goal. He'd just be typing the entire game like Farah, but ironically. So he'd like make a save and stop to type at everyone on the opposing team.
Did anybody else get DM'd from him today with a picture of hickeys on his neck? Anybody
No, I
else
did
get
not.
that?
I didn't get that.
I got that one, unfortunately.
Dude, I think I've been
I'm glad I
ignoring
didn't get
him
that.
enough that I don't get any of those anymore.
Yeah, thank God.
Where is Clister's sign up? He hasn't signed up yet, has he?
No, he's
He
the
did. No,
first
he's
one.
the very first. He went.
I think he might
Everybody
have been
went undrafted.
Oh, they're.
I think he might have been the
automatically in.
first person to even sign up for the draft too.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's
He's
possible.
excited to get on the field and show what he can do.
He showed his stuff in that 7v7 tournament.
Yep, there's
True.
his sign up says 80 availability, and his other info he said I'm the best. So he's pretty confident in his abilities.
Do you think he logs into Discord every day and gets disappointed to see he's not on a team yet?
Yes, 100%. He is. He's excited to be on a team and try his best, and he gets a little bit upset when he's not given the opportunities he so rightfully deserves.
You know Clister better than pretty much everybody does, right? Because
Yeah.
you're like
Yeah.
always on his team. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Clister, we've been teammates multiple times, different leagues, and I can say he's a great guy, great locker room presence, very supportive of his teammates all the time, and he's a great prospect.
I think it only makes sense for him to go to Merritt Island so he can team up with his brother EXO Paul Poggers.
Yeah.
I mean, he absolutely loves you, dude. Like, I don't know what you did to him, but he loves
Yeah.
you. He's like the
I
one
think
person.
I think he's just really appreciative that I respect him, and I know what he can do on the field and off the field. He's a great guy, funny guy, and I think he just appreciates that I'm willing to give him opportunities. You know, if I was a GM, I'd sign him right away. First waiver, give me Clister. He's got the most potential in this league.
That is true.
That's why we didn't let you GM, dude.
He's the youngest, so I mean, it only makes sense. Like, he's gonna grow into a great player eventually. He's the Chan Jr. that never existed.
That's
Okay.
It's a little
That's too
bit
far.
of a
That's too
that's
far.
that's an Easter egg for all the old people in this week.
That's
Man,
all.
dude, no one's even gonna understand that, dude. Come on.
Dude, don't link this to Chan Touch. That's all.
We could end it if you guys want to, talking about early season award favorites.
That's what I was gonna say too.
Early season. All right. So what do you guys
If any,
think?
I'm not gonna start it off because I gotta look at the stats real quick.
What are the awards?
MVP, offensive player, GK, most improved.
I like to
Maybe-
say I
maybe
don't need to look at any stats. I'm actually a big advocator for eye test over stats in most cases, and so I think for me, for MVP at least, I'd probably be leaning towards. I mean, it's so early, but I'd probably be leaning towards Anon repeating. He's one of the favorites. He just does so much for his team all the time, every game. So consistent right now, so good. And I think Vidal's got to be up there too. He keeps his team in a lot of games. He's just super consistent, and he's in Euro ping. Like, that's got to be taken into consideration. This guy's a legit player. And
It would
shows
be
up.
super impressive a goalkeeper winning MVP. That would be awesome.
And I think he's a lock for goalkeeper of the year if that's an
No,
award.
for sure. Yeah. Unless like he just ends up giving up a lot of goals just because his team can't, defend for him.
And that's when
I can't
I'd be like, I don't care about the stats. Like, this guy's performing.
I don't even
You can't
know.
expect him to not let in goals with that team.
I don't even know who else could contend for GK of the year except for Vidal.
I was saying, our goalkeeper, dude, Napoleon. But after tonight, like he had a clean sheet first 2 games, but he let in 3 goals in our final game. So
Yeah,
it's kind of made it a little interesting.
It's not his natural position, but I feel like goalkeeping isn't too difficult in real soccer. A lot of it depends on your defense, though. Like if you're just constantly giving up really bad goals and juvie ones and stuff.
The part where it's really like you can make a difference is on offense, actually, because having a goalkeeper that you can pass to reliably, to link up with your mid, just makes your offense so much more dynamic. And so I think having goalkeepers, like when you're playing goalkeeper, I think Prizzle can be this type of player too once he learns the map a little bit more. A goalkeeper that you can, Vidal is really good at this. You can just pass to him, link up with him, give and goes, etc. He can make good forward passes. He can put in crosses and stuff. I think it's really valuable, even more so than like someone who's a little bit better at saving shots.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm looking at the stats thing here, and if we're gonna go based off of what Farah's statistics are saying here, he has an average rating of 10.0, which is the highest you can possibly get.
Who? Him? Himself?
Vidal does.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
Is that for every game?
I have no idea.
Or is that just like the first 3 games?
No idea. All I can say is he has a 10, Sprung has a 9.7, Lucas has a 9.4, I have a 9.4, you have an 8.2. Okay.
He hates Rex, dude. He hates Rex.
I don't know.
He doesn't like me.
I could go on for 30 minutes about why this guy should be banned from the league and why Anonymous is a fucking idiot for letting him stick around, but I could, that would end up making this podcast 3 hours, so I'm not going to do that. Yeah. I don't know. Goalkeeper of the year, probably Vidal, just based on performances, but I think numbers could end up playing a role in it. Depends on how the rest of the season goes. Nap, probably second favorite to win the award. MVP, I don't know. I feel like the start of the season, I think everybody's favorite was Compass to win the award.
Yeah, he was the betting favorite.
I think just, I mean, they could win the rest of their games, and I don't think he would win MVP just on how he started off the season.
People might just boycott him, like they won't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because of what he did.
I think he's probably out of it. Anonymous is a good idea for MVP if he manages to get his team into the playoffs and maybe a finals appearance. I don't know. I'm not going to nominate anybody from my team. Just, I don't want to be biased or anything like that. I think
Rex is definitely up there with all the stuff he does.
Yeah, I was going to say Rex. Just his defensive ability as well as just distribution is really high. Keeps us in every single game. I feel like Question, maybe even Nantes, one of those two, or Negro could be a sleeper depending on how the rest of the season goes.
Nantes was who I was gonna say.
Nantes for sure could be a sleeper.
If they just keep winning and he keeps on putting up points, then
I think with the Compass situation, like not even holding like any of his behavior as a manager or anything against him, like I still think just with his playing, no matter how good that team does the rest of the season, he just shouldn't win because he's been absolutely irrelevant first 3 games, and his team is going to be so good. His supporting cast is going to be so absolutely amazing compared to everyone else's this season, rest of the season, that his really good play is almost like expected more than anything. And I think people more like non-Rex Nantes, their impressive performances are going to be way more valuable because they have less to work with. So
yeah, it's kind of like how, I don't even know if I want to bring up the NBA with these people in here, you two, but, you know, like the fucking Warriors, like, in a vacuum, you could say Kevin Durant's the best player in the league, but he will never win MVP as long as he's on the Warriors, just because as a team they're so good that while he's performing well, everybody else on the team is performing so well that like he just like
He's
MVP is like one of those things where it's like, yeah, your team has to perform well, but it's like it's something where like it's like James Harden kind of like he's far and away the best player on that team. Like he's a tier above everybody else. Everybody on the Warriors is kind of on the same tier. Everybody on the Morons is now basically on the same tier. I guess you could put Monk and Shirt one tier below Pixel and Compass, but like that team is just like you were saying, it's just like way too stacked to like have an MVP candidate on it.
Yeah, and it's not like
Stupid way to vote for awards, though, I gotta say.
Well, I know the counter argument, like that you shouldn't punish people for being on good teams, but I think you have to keep in perspective when you're watching their gameplay. Their job is so much easier because of what their teammates can provide.
Right.
Like when Nantes, not that Forge is a bad team, but like when Nantes is playing, when Anon is playing, the quality of their teammates is so much lower compared to the Morons. If you switched Anon with Compass, Anon would be able to put in the same kind of performances with that roster easily.
Yeah.
What about most improved player? Any suggestions for that one? Sort of a tough award to vote for.
Yeah, I want to talk about that too. But who won it last year? Was it Tebow?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was Tebow, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm gonna say right now, just side note, he hasn't improved.
Yeah, I think that is the most interesting award, but I have no idea like who would even contend for that.
My first shout would be Question. I think.
I was gonna say him as
Question
well.
for sure.
It's
yeah.
really the only one that comes to mind, I think.
You could put Lucas in that category as well.
Yeah.
It's his second season ever playing in the league, and he started off in the academy. So that'd be a pretty interesting story if he manages to win it.
I'd put
just because his team's going so well.
I might put Mesut in that category too. When I watch Flamengo, I think he's been playing really well.
And Mesut's always been a good player. I think
he was terrible last season.
But I think the biggest thing with him is he's always like the laggiest person in the league.
Yeah.
Period. So it's kind of hard to judge him at all.
Yeah.
He's always lagging.
And technically, there's 3 players. If you want to include Sprung, it just says, just based on how he played so little last season, if at all, and how he's kind of, his stats aren't. He's got 2 goals, 2 assists, but like, he's just one of those people who you could technically have to throw in at least in the race of winning the award.
Yeah. On my odds sheet, I've got Sprung as the heavy favorite to win, but I might boycott the awards if he wins. That'd be very disappointing.
Well, Lucas is on 3 goals and 4 assists, and Question is on 3 goals and 2 assists. But like we were saying, it's not just a numbers thing.
Yeah,
it goes a lot further than that.
Flamengo did win 6-1 over the Morons.
6-1 over the Morons.
That game should not really even be looked at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
The Flamengo, they had a really good start to the season, but you got to think about the games that, the teams that they were playing. They started against the Merritt Islanders. That's an obvious win. And then
they had 2 own goals in that game, so there's that too.
And then they played the Morons at the beginning of the season, which is, they're obviously they're up to something. They've been
the worst team.
Yeah,
the worst team in the league.
Which they shouldn't be. On paper, you wouldn't look at that team and think, oh yeah, they're gonna be in last place 3 games into the season or whatever. But
I didn't see anyone that ranked them below first in the rankings at the start of the season.
Yeah, everybody expected them to be doing great things, and then it turns out that they're up to no good. It seems they're up to no good. But what can you do?
Nothing. Can't do anything.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate.
What other award is there? Offensive Player of the Year. That's basically just a who has the most points at the end of the season award. So really no point in talking about that. GM of the Year.
Please not Compass.
No, obviously not. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the three obvious are, I guess you could say myself, Nantes, and Lucas, just because they're the top three teams so far throughout the season.
I think that definitely depends on where they end up at the end of the season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
just early.
I think all the GMs right now, except other than maybe Compass, would have an argument for it.
Yeah, I mean,
That means Matt with 1T, I guess.
depending on, I mean, you never know. You guys could pull off some wins, and he could win the award.
Let's
I
be
mean, he's
honest.
been,
I think that's a good trade for him. Good
I
trade.
don't-
you could say he's by far been the most active GM this season in terms of making moves. So if it works out for him, you kind of gotta give him the nod.
I guess the trade isn't as, it's not quite as bad for him. Like if you take it at face value or whatever, like it's not actually that bad because Shirt was inactive for him at least, but still, like I feel like he should have been more aware of the controversy in the locker room, especially with like Matt and us, and maybe reconsidered. Monk is a really good player. Shirt's a really solid player if he shows up. So I think he should have maybe thought about that one a little bit more. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe.
here's the way I see it with that. Like, I'm going to make an NBA comparison as well, because I'm a big basketball guy, you all know. It's sort of like the Kawhi Leonard trade for the Raptors. It's like the Raptors weren't going anywhere with what they had going on. Like, Merritt Island, they weren't making the playoffs with the situation they had now. But now they got this trade, and they got Feneria possibly coming up. At least they got a chance now, you know what I'm saying? Like, before they had no chance. Now they got at least some chance. So if it doesn't work out, if it doesn't work out, it's fine. And if it does work out, you know, it works out, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it is definitely like an activity thing. I mean, his original roster, he really only had one star player, and that was Monk, because Shirt obviously wasn't showing up. And so with this trade, he brings in Paul, he brings in Rachel. They're obviously two really good players in the league. Everybody rates them very highly. And he also gets Matt for some depth and activity as well, because you know Matt's going to show up. And you know that he wants to play.
He's begging.
Well, I'm not sure if he wants to play with Rachel and Paul Poggers.
I don't think I think he'll be begging to play.
Yeah,
he'd rather not be on our team, but he'll be begging to play regardless.
Yeah, I think he will want to play. I mean, he might hate himself, but everyone else is gonna hate themselves anyway. Like Rachel's gonna he's gonna meme and he's gonna type in chat all game. I mean, it's gonna happen.
Yeah. But he's gonna flash his hack stot. Yeah,
he's gonna flash his hack stot. He's gonna someone's gonna mess up and he's gonna go flying across the screen holding out. But I mean, I think it is a trade that Matt needed to do. I feel like it does kind of ruin the league potentially, because morons are probably going to run away with it now. But
yeah, that's the thing I was going to say. Like, the biggest downside, I guess, of it is he's practically handed the trophy if Shirt shows up to the team he made the trade with. But
yeah.
So I think I don't like the trade mostly because of what he did to the league rather than what he did to his own team. I think what he did to his own team was fine, but
then again, last season after the first game, the Lilies played Leon the first game, and it was Monk, Feneria, Compass, and Shirt. And I said to Geoff after the game that I thought it was the best team that had ever been assembled in North American real soccer.
Yeah.
Because like just watching them play, it was like incredible how well they moved the ball, and I was like, there's no way they're not going to win the season, and they didn't end up winning the season. So there's just a lot of games that things can go wrong in, and a lot of time for the locker room to get spoiled.
And
that can happen.
And we've changed the format this season. There's going to be playoffs, so any team can get knocked off. It just takes one game. So, I mean, it just takes one goal from a team and just defending for the rest of the game. And they could just find themselves out of the playoffs. I mean, I don't think that favors them. Yeah, I mean, I think going into the playoffs, going into the playoffs, I don't think they're going to get the 1 seed just because they're so far behind at this point, but they're going to end up being 2 or 3, I would say. I would give them better odds of being the 3 than the 2. Just I assume that Forge is going to perform for the rest of the season. But I mean, yeah, I mean they could find themselves against either Forge or Doki in the first round, and I mean I don't want to overrate myself too highly, but I think if I make one more move to get another starter into our team, I think we have a really, really good chance of winning the entire thing. So, I mean,
Didn't want to
either
take that chance on me though.
yeah, okay, but I mean, it could easily happen. Forge could knock them off with 1 goal. We can knock them off with 1 goal. It's not like David. It's not like a David versus Goliath thing last season with that roster. I mean,
Right.
you pointed out they didn't win, but like, it's not impossible.
Well, and look who they didn't win to. It was Anon at midfield. I think if anyone's going to take that team down in a single game, it's going to be Cartel. It's going to be Anon's team because that's the best midfielder in the league right now.
And Natchez is on that team too.
Yeah, I mean,
And now he's on a much better team.
there's a big difference between Cartel last season and Cartel this season, though. So I don't.
Yeah.
Yes.
No Nantes.
I
No
know.
Lindgren.
I know Anon is really, really good, and he's capable of carrying, but I feel like he did have a lot of support with Vidal and Nantes and Lindros
true.
when he was playing.
That's very true. Didn't take that into consideration.
I think his team is a bit underrated, though. I think they played really well tonight against us, personally.
Yeah, they did.
But I just
Who
don't.
started for them, actually? Forgot.
Wait, what'd you ask?
Who started for them?
It was Lucky, goalkeeper, Anonymous mid, Chris24, and Smacked as their
Yeah.
forwards.
Shout out to Chris24, good academy.
Is Red MIA?
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, no idea where
He was on my fantasy team too. Shame.
Mistake,
Yeah.
dude. Big mistake.
Whatever.
He was
I'm a
on mine
gambler,
too, dude.
not
I
a
just cut him,
fantasy
dude.
guy.
I just cut him.
But yeah. I don't know what else to talk about.
Yeah.
I think we're all out, dude.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
don't think
it.
there's much else.
I don't know how to end this, dude. Last time I just said bye and I shut my phone off.
I want to give some shout outs.
Go ahead and do that. Shout out like your Instagram, your Twitter, you know, where can the people
Well,
find
no,
you?
I mean like I wanna give a quick shout out to Lucas, my man Lucas. Good honorary Lily, real Akira, great GM, good leader in the locker room. I knew he'd make a good GM. I pushed for him, and he's a great guy. A negative shout out to Jeff B. Jeff, Juiced, and Cornhub for being useless fighting the Ender Dragon.
Okay.
And
Okay.
finally, a negative shout out to myself for not being able to collect this golden berry. I've been sitting here for 3 hours trying to do it, and I can't do it. So, negative shout outs to them. Shout out to Lucas. That's all I have to say.
Evan,
Anybody
you can
else
go
got
ahead.
shout outs?
I have some shout outs, but I'll let everybody else go if they want to first.
Shout out to Merritt Island. Honestly, I'm so happy you guys are the team that I definitely want to be traded to. I'm really excited to get started with you guys. I don't know why Rex is laughing right now. I'm very genuine right now. I love Merritt Island. I've dreamed about playing for this team my entire life. And when I saw Matt with 1T got promoted to GM, I was like, wow, he definitely deserves this. This is the right selection by the staff. This guy's a great player. He knows how to pick. Just shout out to my new team, man. I'm so excited to play with you. I'm so glad that Matt came with me in the trade, too. I love that guy. He was my favorite teammate with the Morons. The only team I actually liked other than Rachel, so...
Let's wrap it up, dude.
Dude.
I'm very excited, dude. I'm very excited to play with Merritt Island. Go Merritt Island. Rep the island.
When you said that you've been dreaming about playing with this team forever, I just looked at your picture of you as a kid. just imagining, like, yeah, one day I'm going to be playing on Merritt Island, dude. I can't wait.
That was me in a Merritt Island jersey. Bro. I swear to God, that's Merritt Island misadventures right there. So, MIM.
Alright, Jeff, you got any shout-outs?
Okay. Yeah. First, I want to give a big shout out to my Doki boys, everybody in that locker room. Sorry about how things ended up tonight with that last game. Got real unlucky, won't happen again.
I blame Lauren, dude. I blame Lauren.
That
good
happens,
call by
dude.
me.
Rigged,
I-
rigged
I-
commissioner,
I
but
blame
whatever.
Lauren. Rigged.
Proper
Rigged for
call.
the admins. Rig. Okay.
No-brainer
Real quick. Gurman, Nap, and I see Noel has a Raptors logo. I just want to say congratulations on Toronto Raptors making the finals for the first time ever. Toronto.
Oh,
Those
They're
are
gonna
my
get
boys.
Canada.
Gurman, Napoleon.
Canada.
Raptors in 6. And shout out to Cole. Try to get you in tonight, dude, but we had no chance to do it. So, actually, no, never mind. That's it. That's all I gotta say.
That's it.
That's all for me.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. To the listeners, thank you for tuning in. If you actually listened to the whole thing, which I doubt you did, because I think this ended up being like nearly an hour and a half or something. But
I think longer than that, actually.
That's it. It feels like 3 hours.
it was probably longer. I forget when I actually started hitting the
Dude,
record
that trade that came in mid podcast made this thing much longer than it would have been.
Yeah.
That's true. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, whatever parts you did listen to. If you're even listening to this, thank you. Yeah, shout out Team G. And
G, yeah.
G's up in the chat.
G's up in the chat.
He's up in the chat.
G's
There
up
it
in the
is.
Team
chat.
G,
G squad.
77 champion.
G squad.
And
G squad.
I think that's all we got to say. So we'll see you next time. Peace.
Team G. Team G.
Team G.